Welcome, everybody, to the Commercial Music Show. I'm your host, Ben Graham, and today's guest is the one and only Kacey Kennedy, songwriter, multi-instrumentalist, and a current student in the commercial music program here at Idaho State University. Kacey, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for being here. How are we doing?
I'm doing pretty good, Ben. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. So, we'll just go ahead and jump in. Can you tell us how long you've been a musician here?
I've been a musician for a while. I like to say a decade just because it sounds longer.
Mm-hmm.
But I started playing piano when I was 8 years old, piano lessons with my aunt.
Yeah.
Right. And it's really interesting because I think about it now and I'm she really did change my life. Because piano lessons at 8 years old, it's no, I don't want to do this. But it's I'm majoring in piano now and look who's doing the things now, and it's me. So.
A lot of people, I think, that I have met at least, have started piano lessons very young, and they don't really have that initial inclination to want to get super good, and then eventually, if you stick with it, then you start to develop your own taste, and then you just go from there, right? But so you started on piano.
Yeah.
So you play more instruments.
Yeah. So I started on piano. And did that for a long time. I kept doing it until now. I joined a choir, the ISU Children's Chorus, actually.
Oh, fun!
When
nice.
I was in 5th grade, I think. Did that for a couple years. It was funny because my mom was always finally someone who can sing.
Yeah.
I then dropped out of choir. Promptly dropped out of choir. And started playing saxophone instead.
Okay.
I also played violin for a bit.
Why saxophone?
Saxophone. This is a really funny story. I actually went to an all-state, an district-wide middle school honor band, and I was in the orchestra playing violin.
Oh, cool. Okay.
And I remember staying for the whole thing, and I remember the jazz band went up, and our one and only John Armstrong started playing the saxophone, and I just remember being starstruck.
Yeah.
It's so weird that I can attribute it to this one moment. I even have the program saved. I have the program saved because it was such an important moment for me.
Oh yeah.
And so it's just funny because I look back at
foundational.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's I have the date, I have the songs that they played, I have everyone who was in the honor band.
Oh wow.
On this sheet of paper for the moment that I remember being I'm gonna learn saxophone and I'm gonna not play violin ever again.
Okay.
And I haven't touched the violin since.
Oh wow. Okay.
And now I play saxophone and it's definitely changed my life for the better.
Oh my goodness, wow. So then, all right, so you were involved with Idaho State at a young age, right?
Yeah.
Did you always know you were kind of just going to come here, or did you have thoughts about other schools? What was that process like?
Well, when you grow up in Pocatello, at least from what I gather from growing up in Pocatello, nobody wants to go to ISU.
Yeah.
Nobody is from here and is I'm going to go to ISU for the educational aspect. They're I want to get out of here. I want to leave Pocatello. I want to leave this stinky little valley, right?
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so I was thinking about going to Utah State. I was thinking about going to Oregon. I could have genuinely gone anywhere. I was a good enough student in high school that I could have gone anywhere. And I applied to multiple places, but it wasn't until that I sat down with John and had not an interview, but I just had a meeting with John and we've been emailing and stuff that he was you would be so good in the commercial music program. And I was oh my gosh, you're right. And so that's when I was yeah, I'm going to go to ISU. Also, it's affordable. And I think that's really
huge thing
that a lot of people don't necessarily think about, especially when they're thinking about going to college. They think about it, but it's more I'd rather get out and spend money than go to a school with actually great programs, a local school that's affordable and actually has a great education. Yeah,
right. So you're here now, right? So what's your experience been so far with commercial music?
I love it here. I go to family reunions all the time and my family's oh, do you like Idaho State? Because my entire family are Utah State Aggies and, Aggies all the way, which, I guess, good for them.
Right.
But they're always do you like ISU? And I'm this is the best place for me to be right now in my life. And I love the teachers here. Something that I really think about is that the teachers here truly do care about my improvement and they care about me being successful.
Yeah. Totally.
I talk to people in other schools and they're just they just beat me down. They tear me to pieces. I have a couple friends that have dropped out of their music programs.
Wow.
Because their principal instrument teachers just tear them apart.
These big schools or
and like they're not even like that. They're bigger than ISU, but like they're not even like super big. But they just get torn apart and like they lose all of their passion. But like here at ISU, like I feel like such like a warm welcome from just fellow students.
Oh yeah.
But then also from our faculty. Like I could go to any of the faculty and just like have a normal conversation with them, and I could feel like I could talk to them about anything, like whether it's like stuff at home, like I'm having issues, like I need groceries, like oh no, I have to go to the grocery store or whatever. Like there's that, but then it's also like if I needed help with any practicing, I could just be like, hey, can I have a quick lesson? Yeah. Like 5 minutes.
That's how it should be, I think.
And like that's how it should be. And like I talk about it, and like I have like my friends are like, I wish I had that.
This is such a warm place. It's such a great program. It's like, and you're working on your music and you're building your own career, right?
Like you're building your own portfolio here, but it's like you're building more than just a portfolio. You're building like a community. And I feel like, especially in the music industry, the tighter knit a community is, the more successful you're going to be as an individual.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And so I feel like being in this program here, when it's starting to like really pick up, at least, this is a moment that I couldn't trade for the world. Yeah. I will say I don't need this degree to get the experience that I want, right? But I want this degree because I want to get the experience that this degree only can give me. Yeah. And that is because of the tight-knit community that we foster together as a program.
Absolutely, for sure. So kind of switching a little bit here. So you are working on Kacey stuff, right? You have your own music you're working on, and you're doing your thing. Can you tell us a little bit about who Kacey is and what Kacey's music is?
Yeah, so just working on like some personal projects right now, which everyone should be working on a personal project at all times. But I think that my project right now is just kind of like getting a hold on what it's like. Okay. And so as much as I want to like establish like my sound and my music and my style, I think most of it is just, treading the water. Yeah. And like I released a song back in March. It's called and I definitely did it. It wasn't my best writing. I don't want to say that because I definitely worked hard, right? Yeah, you always work hard and you want to put out what's best. But it's like I acknowledged that I wasn't experienced, right? Freshman in college, very little recording experience, and I just wanted it out there. And so I kind of released it with the hopes and dreams that it was just gonna be my first song. And like that was so exciting for me as an individual, because like absolutely, because I hope that my music is just happy. Like I hope people get joy from listening to this, and I hope that they understand that I get joy from releasing stuff because it's mine. Absolutely. Like I love sharing my experiences. And I just released a song, my newest song. It's called Take Me Back. And that one, the production value is so much better than my other one. like
it changes. Like you get better at it.
And it's I don't think I even spent like more time on it than my first one. It was probably about the same. But like I went into it being like, okay, now that I have my first song out, let's actually like try some new things and experiment. And I think, especially as like an independent artist who's working on their own personal project by themselves, that's a big deal of just kind of like the growing pains of this. And I think that my sound, I do a lot of like R&B, like bedroom pop. Yeah. I'm kind of going into more funk right now with some other projects that I haven't done anything with.
That's such an amazing thing though, just as an artist, having the freedom to choose and to try out new genres and just experiment with it. It's such an awesome thing.
Exactly. And I think a lot of like independent artists kind of don't think about that. Like they're like, oh, I'm gonna hit it big, I'm gonna put all into my indie genre.
They also sometimes think that they just need to stick with one sound instead of trying new things.
But I feel like, at least with like a lot of I do a lot of like social media research and like just media research in general. I found that the most successful people are the people that take those risks and change. Yeah. And so it's like, even though like I write silly little love songs and write silly little songs in like my bedroom and they don't sound great. Yeah. It's like I know that my products are going to change over time, and I know that I will find a sound that will resonate with more and more people as we go.
And just being content with where your music is in the moment and enjoying it, and just enjoying the fact that you're writing music anyways, and then you're releasing it for everyone else to hear.
Exactly. And it's like being a musician is so much more than just writing and releasing music.
Absolutely.
Like it's also being a performer and also just being a good human. Yeah. Like I feel like, especially with like AI and like business deals and like the big bad production companies and record labels, right? There's so many like negative aspects to the whole music industry in general.
Yeah.
But it's like the most that I could ever want from listening to an artist is for them to be a real person.
Mm-hmm.
Like someone who shares real feelings, someone who shares their real life experience and is present when they're performing.
Yeah.
And is present with their fan base and is present online and like contributes to society in a way that isn't just writing and releasing music, but it's writing and releasing experiences and sharing that human experience.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I 100% agree. So speaking of the industry, I think this is a pretty fair question to ask. If you could change anything, just one thing, or multiple things if you want, about the music industry, what would it be, and how do you think you would manage to do it?
I think just one thing that would help a lot is I have two things. Having streaming services pay independent artists more.
Oh, absolutely.
Because they pay thousands of dollars to record labels and label companies, because these label companies are also investors. And so these investors are getting payouts from the company itself, but then also from the musicians that are signing up with them.
Absolutely.
And so I wish that at least streaming companies would kind of like level it out a little bit more, especially for independent artists. Like I would just love to see that. It's not really realistic though, because business is so nuanced, right?
Yeah.
We have to think about our investors and we have to think about this. But like, even if like there was just a bit more of a push to help independent artists, it would be like night and day difference. So that would be one thing, but I think that's just like a big scary CEO type fix.
For sure.
Like you like lobbying would help even like to get some legislation on it, because it's kind of a monopoly. Yeah. But it's like this is such a like streaming is such a relatively new thing that it's like there's not been much legislation about it, which is quite sad.
It gets overlooked a lot of the time. I think.
Yeah, because I feel like we have to be thinking ahead about this. One other thing that I think would really help the music industry as a whole would be definitely just like fixing the algorithm. Yeah. Like we talk about the algorithm and it's like social media, but it's also like the streaming algorithm. And I think like just the time that you spend on your phone shouldn't like dictate whether someone is successful or not.
Right.
And like the whole concept of like virality and going viral, I feel like is very toxic. Like I think about like all these people that go viral over like a 5-second clip over something not productive to today's society.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like not good, not productive, not positive, like, but then they're getting like brand deals and they're getting record deals and they're getting all this stuff. And it's like, they just said 4 words that were kind of funny.
I hear you. I do. It's kind of, it makes you pause for a second and just think, oh man, what's the quality of content going viral?
Exactly. And it's like, there's people here in Pocatello, small town Idaho, right? Southeast Idaho, people
doing big things.
And like they're working, they're working so hard. They're working their butts off. These people are working 2 part-time jobs and doing personal projects at home. And they might have like a family at home. They're trying to feed, but also try to like make it big with something that they truly do love, and that they're trying to contribute to society. But then these people, there's other people in the world that are just getting like a free pass because they had that algorithm help them.
Right. And so, I think it's kind of unfortunate sometimes, because the, what goes viral, like that content, unfortunately, that's what the majority of people value more. And, as musicians, we try to make it big with releasing music and performing. And, we have our own social media accounts and we release our own music, and we record live performances and stuff. And it's just not what people want to see, or what the majority of people want to see, which is very unfortunate, but that's just the way the algorithm works. That's just the way social media works. Exactly. So, I think it would always be a good thing to, try to help grow, music and the music side of social media a lot more.
Yeah. And I feel like this wouldn't be an issue like pre-pandemic. I don't want to bring up the pandemic, but only recently I've been thinking about like post-pandemic remnants. And so it's not even like the pandemic, like sure it was bad, but it's over now. And we're not talking about in the midst of it. Right. And it's like, but we can definitely talk about how we now live in a way it'll keep going, just so you know. Okay. But now we live in a society that is living all online.
Mm-hmm.
It is entirely online, and people being stuck in their houses have increased the algorithm and increased, or not even increased, just changed the value of virality.
Yeah.
And it has completely altered people's perception of community and being together in person.
Absolutely.
I wouldn't trade anything for a live performance.
Mm-hmm.
If I could see my favorite musicians live, I would cut off my leg and sell it. I saw my favorite artist this summer live, and I cried so hard, and it was embarrassing.
Wow.
But I look at videos and I'm like, that video is not anywhere close.
It's different.
Exactly.
Live performances is just, there's so much more energy. It's way more interactive, and there's just a lot more going on. Anyway,
And it's I value that so much more. And Pocatello is not the big hubbub of any performance, but
right.
I'd so much rather listen to a live show and go to a live show and even perform live than record in my bedroom. Sure. Even though recording in my bedroom is what's going to get me to play live. So it's
right, yeah. You
there's
have to
such
start
this
somewhere,
dichotomy of just we have to perform live to get audience, but we have to get an audience to perform live. So we have to do both.
Yeah.
But we have to balance that out in a way that isn't at least detrimental to our mental health, but also not detrimental to the career as itself.
Right. Yeah. Of course. Yeah. No, I agree 100%. So awesome. So what about this? You obviously have plans for your future. What do you think steps beyond ISU? Have you thought about that?
I've definitely thought about it. So my dream right now after I graduate is to open my own music venue.
Okay.
That is my biggest dream. I just want to host parties. I want to host concerts, throw in some weddings in there just to pay off, the rent of the space.
Absolutely.
But I want to do live mixing and helping other musicians do live performances.
Mm-hmm.
That is the biggest dream. And that's why I'm also studying business, so then I can get that business aspect. And everything that I've done, at least choosing classes and, choosing other jobs to have part-time jobs, has all been towards this one goal of mine. And so I've been looking at spaces to rent in town, in other towns. I have so many ideas, and the biggest thing is just that I am in school still. I'm only 19 years old.
You got time.
I have no credit score. And so it's
that's a pretty big deal.
That's kind of a big deal. But it's I have the experience, and I know I can do it when I have that momentum after I graduate. And so it's been really cool because I just quit my job at a news station, so I have technical broadcasting directing experience.
Oh yeah.
Which is insane. I love that I can just say that. You know?
That's awesome though.
And it's that's how I got my job as a social media manager. And that's how I'm getting these different opportunities that I've been applying for at different venues in town, and they're offering them to me, and I'm oh, I don't have the time, so sorry, I can't yet. But I would love to learn that because I so badly just want to help local musicians. I just want to host the biggest hang ever.
That's such a noble, goal of yours. I mean, people need help. Musicians need help to grow. They need people to, help them with, sometimes it could be composing, or other times it's just, publicity. I think that's most of the time is these musicians just need people to see them and recognize, either, how much work they've put into this, they're talented. They just need people to see. And, if I can do anything about it, if you can do anything about it, it's a noble effort for sure.
Exactly. And that makes me think about one of my things that I like to do just as a friend is if I go to a friend's performance, my goal is to be the loudest one clapping and the longest one clapping.
Yeah.
Which is such a dumb thing. I've embarrassed so many people.
it's
by me going crazy.
There's the embarrassment side of it, and there's also the feeling that you give your loved one or your friend when they're hearing that, when they're being applauded. It boosts their ego. It boosts in a good way, right?
Exactly.
And and it just makes them feel better about their own musicianship.
And like I make sure to do that whenever I go see any of my friends perform.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so funny because like I went to a gig like in town, like Revive at 5, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And Gone After Midnight was playing, and I went to go support my friends, and like everyone there is at Revive at 5 is drunk.
Yeah.
Everyone's just kind of dancing around, which it's a great hang. I love people watching, right? But
party.
I was the loudest one clapping, and people definitely looked at me like I was drunk out of my mind. And it was just so funny because like I was unabashedly cheering, and I was the loudest one in the park. Everyone could hear me. And like, was I embarrassed? I wasn't embarrassed.
No.
If like my family was there, if my younger brother was there, he would have like melted into a puddle and like started crying.
Well, that's family dynamics for you.
I mean, that's younger brothers for you. But like, I just remember like, seeing, the band up there, and they were just beaming. Like they were just like, thank you for supporting me. We know it's just our friend. Yeah. But our friend is here.
Yep.
And so thank you for supporting us, right? And it's like, when I go to performances, like I want to know that my family's there, and I want to know that my friends are there supporting me.
Right.
Like,
yep.
Like, do I really care?
It's so important.
Not really. Am I performing sometimes just for the grade? Yes. But it's like, if I'm working on like a personal project, I want people to support me, even if they don't like me very much. Yeah. And like, I want people to clap the longest, and I want to hear them, and I want to know that they're there. And I feel like that's such like an important part of the community aspect of being a musician.
Absolutely, yeah.
And like that's why I love it here at ISU so much, because we clap for each other. We applaud each other, and we are there for each other every step of the way. Yeah. And like that, at least for me as an individual, not even just like as a musician, like that means the most to me, and that is what's gonna get you the farthest in life. Like you supporting other people is what's gonna get you farther. And so whether it's you're a musician or a STEM major or an engineer or like working at McDonald's, even like if you're just supporting other people, you're gonna get farther. And I feel like that's something that the music industry gets but doesn't promote. So
needs a lot more help, and need a lot more willingness from people to help other musicians. Absolutely, for sure. So to wrap it up, you have a song you would like to play for us. So you just released a song.
Yes.
And would you tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, so I just released Take Me Back. I wrote it last fall. Yeah, about a year ago. And I wrote it at a time when like I was first moving out of my parents' house. And I wrote it like a couple months after like my boyfriend broke up with me, and like that doesn't even matter anymore. But like I wrote it like in a place where I felt so alone. Right. And I was like, just take me back to when it was easier and less hard. Yeah. Because being in my parents' house, eating their food, and then paying for my gas money, and me not having to worry about having a job or feeding myself or rent or insurance or any of these things, like take me back to a time where I was happier. Yeah. And like I wrote it in a place where like I was not good mentally, and I was just stuck reminiscing about like easier times.
Right. Yeah.
Right. And it's so interesting because like I wrote it and I finished it, and like, I'm playing the song over and over again, leading up in production and recording stuff. But it wasn't until after I released it that I actually had like this feeling of, why would I go back to that time? Because I just felt like this immense like wave of gratitude for what I have now. And it's like, sure, buying groceries and feeding myself is still like the worst thing, and I will always like drag my feet to the grocery store, right? And like I will always, be kind of sad when I have to pay my insurance and my bank account goes back to like $1, right? And so oh man. And so it's like sure, I don't live the greatest life right now. I'm still learning how to live.
Of course,
on my
we're
own.
all learning, right?
But it's like I wrote this song being like, take me back to the good days, take me back to this easier place. But after I released it, I was so grateful for where I was at, and I was so grateful for what I've been given. That I didn't feel the same about the song. And so I released the song, and I was like, this is what it's about. But when I listen to it now, I just feel grateful for where I'm at now, and I would never go back to living with my parents in high school. Okay. Like I would not go back to high school because it was easier. All right. I would love to just look forward. And so instead of take me back, I honestly genuinely feel like, you know, take me forward, like take me to the future, because I have so many things that I want to get done that are so much more exciting, even though they're hard.
Right. Yeah.
And so that's kind of like how that song was written, and that's kind of how I feel about it. But like, that was the first time I used my piano hooked up to a MIDI, so that was kind of cool.
Nice.
Granted, it's like a new piano, so I had to figure that out. But like, it wasn't hard. But like, I did it, so
nice
that's kind of cool.
First, you know.
And like, I changed the sound, so I used bass, and like, I love a good bass line. So so when you're listening to that song, listen to the bass line, because I love a good bass line.
Well, it's got such a great message, I will say. And well, let's take a listen to it. Here is "Take Me Back" by Kacey Kennedy.
Take me back to the good old days, to my golden age, 65 and sunny, coffee shops with my buddies. Take me back, take me back. Sick of overthinking, wanna stop reminiscing. Was it just a few months ago? I can't take this anymore. Take me back, take me back. Now I can't imagine or even begin to fathom how I managed to break my own heart like this. Oh, take me back, take me back. Remember like it's yesterday, how time just slips away. Artificially happy, why can't I escape? Oh, take me back, take me back. Now I can't imagine or even begin to fathom how I've managed to break my own heart like this. Take me back, 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 take me back.
Nice. I love that bass line. It's so killer. Kacey, thank you so much for coming on the Commercial Music Show today. It's been a pleasure having you.
Awesome, thank you so much.